Not all weight loss clients are created equal. Hi, I'm Helen Midas from HypnoFit. I have a successful clinical hypnotherapy practice which basically operates on word of mouth. I have zero advertising, and the reason that I am successful is that most of my customers are very, very happy with the service that they have received. When a weight loss client comes to see you, they have different needs, therefore they need to be treated differently. When I first started my practice, I had one weight loss program to suit all my clients. Well, I'm here to tell you that one size does not fit all. That's not the way that it works. Everybody is different and they must have a completely different, customized approach. So what common mistakes do we make as practitioners? The number one mistake that we make as practitioners is that when the client walks in the door, we believe what they say the presenting issue is. But the presenting issue is not necessarily the issue. We categorize our clients into three broad categories. Which one do you fall into? They will say, oh, it's just a habit for me. I've resolved all those issues in the past, because they don't want a complex, long program. They just want to lose weight. They don't realize what they need. It's our job as therapists, as the experts, to tell them what it is that they need so that this can be a permanent, life-changing solution for them, not a temporary band-aid fix. So what we need to do is explain to them that if they really want this issue to be eliminated once and for all, this is the program that needs to be adhered to. The first category, they're known as the habitual eaters. They're the people that come to see you who need to lose weight, but everything else in their life is going really well. They're operating well at work, they have good relationships, they're happy within themselves, they're confident with who they are. It's just that they've started to undertake some bad habits that have just become worse over the years, such as nighttime eating, such as not exercising, such as larger portions of food. That's the first category. The second category of clients are our sugar addicts. When they first come to see you, you may even wonder as to why they even come to see you, because they don't look overweight. And it could be that everything else in their life is actually quite good habit-wise. They're eating really healthily, they're even going to the gym regularly, and they're exercising quite well, but they have this sugar addiction where they have more chocolate that they need to have, they have more sugar than they need to have, and they just want to get rid of that one or two habits. So they're our sugar addicts, and they're treated differently again from that very first category. And what's the difference between those two, I hear you ask? With regards to the first group, the habitual eaters, a virtual gastric band program or a standard weight loss program would suit perfectly for them. And that would be exactly what they need to get through those issues and working through one habit at a time until they reach a point where they are happy. The first category, they've got more habits that we need to deal with. The second category, only one or two. Our third category is our emotional eaters. They're the ones that we must take so much care of, because we need to make sure that we get this right. What we need to do is eliminate the source, the reason as to why they're overeating. We cannot treat the symptom unless we've eliminated the cause. These emotional eaters may convince you, or try and convince you, that they are not in fact emotional eaters, that they're just bad habits, and that everything else in their life has really been resolved. So how do we tell the difference? How do we know whether they're really emotional eaters or whether they're habitual eaters? A dead giveaway is that in their first session, they burst into tears. That means there's a lot going on inside them. It's not because they're just overweight and they don't like the way they look and they can't fit into their clothes and they just wish that they were fitter. There is something else going on. That is a dead giveaway. If your client bursts into tears the moment they sit down in that chair, you know that they're an emotional eater and that you need to give them the support that they need. and that is not just a standard virtual gastric band or weight loss program. People who engage in emotional eating are doing so because there's something missing in their life. They're not fulfilled in some way. They could be suffering from depression, they could be suffering from anxiety, or both. They could have a number of fears that they haven't broken through. They could have a very poor body image of themselves. Underlying all of that is basically self-esteem. So with our emotional eaters, we need to treat them very differently to how we treat the first, our habitual eaters, and our sugar addicts. So what I'm going to teach you here today is what I do with these people and how I categorize them. How else can we identify these emotional eaters? Basically, we ask them the question. Quite often, even before they come into my practice, I'll ask them over the phone, do you suffer from depression? Do you have anxiety? And they'll tell me as to what's going on with them. Another way of identifying our emotional eaters is that when you're completing your genogram, you basically ask them what's the relationship between the various members of their family. So don't just get the names and the ages and do your nice genogram. Ask them what the relationship is like, and you'd be surprised as to what comes out at that point. You'd be surprised as to what they say about conflict that is happening in their life right now that is leading them to eat emotionally. All that needs to be resolved before we do our weight loss program. So what do I do with these people? I give them a program whereby I eliminate every single source, everything that leads to that emotional eating, one at a time. Every event that's happened in their life needs to be cleared. We need to eliminate their limiting decisions, their fears about moving forward in life. Of course, whilst we're doing that kind of coaching and therapy, we also coach them on better eating habits, just small things at that point, before we launch into the weight loss program later on when they're ready for it. And you find that these clients, that once they start the weight loss program, they fly through it. They absolutely fly because they're finally relieved and they're free from everything that's been weighing them down up to this point. So what's very important to know though is that they will resist you. They will say to you, no, I don't need that program. I just need to lose weight. If I lose weight, I'll be happy. That's all I need. That's all resolved. That's all in the past. You need to be very, very careful about what you do from here on in because you are the expert. So you need to step up and say, if you want to eliminate this problem permanently and lose weight permanently so that you're feeling fantastic about your life, this is what you need to do. So they don't tell you what they need, you tell them what they need because you are the expert.